So, do you remember that time that we tried to test our German knowledge and see if we were worthy of the German badge? Well, today we'll be trying the same, but for my own country, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. There are 4 tests you have to pass. You have to know 40 of the 69 cities in the UK, 13 of the English monarchs, 35 of the counties of England, and 20 British Prime Ministers, and I think I might be able to. 40 cities is tricky because there's so many useless cities in the UK, because city has a really weird definition here. It's not based on cathedral, it's not based on size, it's based on basically arbitrariness. English monarchs is hard because I have big gaps between like Henry and the present, but I'm going to guess those. Counties of England, I probably should wing it. And British Prime Ministers, I think I could get like 40 or something. So, with that said, let's dive straight into it with cities of the United Kingdom. Do I know them all? Oh, there's no map to help me. Okay, that's fine. So, London is actually technically a city, but the City of London's the city. There's a second city within London called Westminster. There's the 2 cities were kind of rivals for a while, but now it's just part of the same Great London thing. There's a lot of other cities that count as cities, but they're not in the London complex. Then there's some really garbage cities. St. David's is, I think it's the smallest city in Wales at least, but it's got like 3,000 people. They stopped being a city for a while and then they came back to being one. There's like St. Eltsif's or something, I don't even know, it's got such a bad name, like Esaps. Again, my spelling, my knowing words but not knowing how to spell them is really coming to bite me here. But that's the smallest city in the UK. It's got like 1,000 people living there because in the UK, city status is granted by the Queen. It's awful. So we'll just go for Scottish cities. Glasgow, Edinburgh, Perth, surprisingly, is also a Scottish city. Aberdeen has to be one, right? As well as Dundee. So those are the big settlements in Scotland, but there's also a few other weird ones like Stirling that counts as a city for royal reasons. And then there's one other in Scotland. So it's Fort David's, I want to say it's called. It's not Fort David's, Fort David? Fort Andrews? It's got a really weird name that's like Andrew Fort. Oh wait, yeah, we could work it out like EFG, it's not Fort. Okay, there we go. So there's another city in Scotland. It's not one of the big 4 populated areas, and we don't need to get it, it's fine. So then in Wales, there's Cardiff. There's Swansea, or Swansea, if you want to spell it easier and you don't know the word swan. We've got Holyhead probably is a city, right? It's not a city, or Holyhead, I guess. I've called it Holyhead this whole time. It only has 1 L. Well, you know, it's Holyhead now. So there's also Carmarthen. Either it's the biggest non-city... Yep, no, it's the biggest non-city town. So there's Swansea, there's St. David's, there's Cardiff, and then there's some other thing in Wales. Then we'll go for Northern Ireland. Oh, it's not. Oh, there it is. It's really, really, really bright green. Like, look at the size of that. So Northern Ireland, there's Belfast, there's Bangor, there's Carrickfergus, I want to say. That's not a city. Would have assumed it was. Then there's Derry, or Londonderry, whichever one you say, it's going to offend people. Oh, what's that about Jetpunk? Calling it Londonderry? You know, expect some bombs in your... you probably shouldn't joke about that. That's a real thing someone might do for offense that small. Then we've got Munster. We'll try Munster. I tried it in Germany. I'm not sure which city it's in just yet. No, there's big cities by the border, and there's big cities like all around, but I can't spot them right now. So Belfast and Derry and Bangor. Oh, we didn't get Bangor yet. Oh, Bangor's in Wales. There's a city of... Oh, well, I nailed it apparently. Got it in the wrong country, but we got 14 from just these. Now we can just start nailing big cities in the UK. Nottingham, Leicester, Leeds, Sheffield. York has to be one, right? Old York, not New York. So we'll keep going in that like kind of area. Derby, probably a city. Hate the spelling of Derby. Which we're gonna just like focus north and then kind of come down from there. So starting north also, we've got Manchester. We've also got Liverpool. People hate when I say it that way. Newcastle's basically the same, even though it's way further north than any of this. There's Sheffield, there's Leeds, and there's maybe some other cities in that area. Durham probably is. Yep, Durham's a city. It's in the Newcastle area, not that area, but still. Near Liverpool, there's like Wirral that might be its own city. It's not its own city. Oh, Chester. Chesterfield, I think. Okay, well, Chester's also a city. Chesterfield. Chesterfield is not a city. Good thing we got Chester from that. So then we're going to go like kind of Midlands-ish now. So we'll start with Birmingham, the second biggest city in the UK. Sometimes the third. Depends how you measure it. People get upset when you say that, though. Wolverhampton, maybe. Hey! And then Northampton? You know what? Let's go for all the Hamptons. Ah, poor Northampton. Southampton is... I learned it is a city because I incorrectly said it was the biggest non-city. So Portsmouth, I guess. Portsmouth. There we go. So we'll come down south now. Devon is a county, not a city. Exeter is actually a big one. But then down there's like Truro, which is a tiny city for some reason. Again, we have a bad city system. Newquay must be a... Oh, nope. So we got... Okay, so down in the southwest, Bristol must be a city. Gloucester, I hate if it is a city, but apparently it is. There's one like north of there with a slightly funny name, but we won't get it for now. So Norwich used to be the biggest city in the UK, which means Ipswich must also... Ah, poor Ipswich. Or maybe I spelled it wrong. Nope, poor Ipswich. Sucks to be you, man. I don't think there's anything else in the East Midlands. I know there's a city called Wells. It's not the same Wells that I think it is, like Wells next to the sea, but there is a Wells somewhere in the UK that is a city. And then England. Okay, so what are we missing? Like Kent? Okay, so we got like, okay, we're going to focus London, go a little bit north of London. Milton Keynes isn't a city, Luton's not a city, Bedford's not a city. Cambridge is a city in Oxford. Okay, the university towns, easy cities. Cambridge, Oxford, easy cities. Then going west to Wales, you get Worcester. Going north of Worcester, you get, we'll just go for big cities again, you know what, we got... Yeah, we'll go back for the big cities that we've maybe missed. Because the second biggest, we got 3 more to go for. So, I can totally do this. We just got to think like, okay, down south, Isle of Wight, doesn't have a big city. Big island, not a big city. Down in the southeast, oh, Brighton, definitely a city. Brighton's a city. There's probably another city in there, like, well, oh, I already gone for Wales. So, Shoreham, not a city. What else is a city between London and everything else? So as you go north to get to, maybe Wellingborough is a city. The Rutland has a big city in there, maybe. No. Okay, so Birmingham has a lot of satellite cities that I can't name off the top of my head. Rugby must be a city, right? It's not a large town. Would be a weird... Oh, no. Okay, 2 more. Zoom in. Let's do this. Let's focus. So... 2 more cities in the UK. I can easily name none. Near Nottingham, there's Hull. And there's Stoke-on-Trent. Yeah! 40. I should have gone more, but the time nature really gets to you, man. Like, you know there's so many, like, Hereford, Lancaster, Bath is easy one. Chelmsford, Coventry, Peterborough, Plymouth, Salford. So the ones I didn't get in Northern Ireland, by the way, were Armagh and... Oh, I missed out Inverness. I got Inverness and something else confused. Or I didn't type Inverness. I definitely mentioned those 4 big ones and vaguely implied Inverness. Newport and St. Asaph is the... This is the smallest city in the UK. Like, it points out how silly the city is. Because you might think you need a cathedral to be a city. You don't need to. Like, a lot of cities don't have cathedrals. And you might think it's population. No, St. Asaph has, like, a tiny population of a village. But it's technically a city. And that, yeah, cities in the UK are garbage. Like, it just is, name this weird 69 official thing. There's going to be 70 soon, and I can't wait. Although it means nothing, so I guess I can wait. Next up, we've got, actually we're going to skip past English monarchs into the, I guess, counties of England. Like, we're in the fort space anyway. Let's see if we can name, oh, we've got a map too, awesome. So, we'll start with, I guess we'll start with London. Like, Greater London is, oh, it's 2 counties. Then we'll go with the home counties, because in my head I can just do them quite easily. So you start with Herefordshire, or Hertfordshire. Maybe they're both Shires. Yep, Hereford's one. Then there's Hertfordshire. And then there's Essex. Then there's Sussex. That's not the same. Oh, there's no Sussex anymore. That's a shame. Bring Sussex back. We got Kent, I guess, must be one. Then we got the Brighton County. I thought that was Sussex, honestly. Like, there's only a Sussex police. West Sussex? There can't be a West Sussex. Why is there a West... Oh, because there's an East Sussex. Okay. I'm not angry anymore. I was momentarily very rage-filled by that one. Then we've got something to the west of London. You know, the west is a little bit more confusing to me. So I know that there's Guildford there. Guildfordshire, no. So we'll just go back up.
So then we got Buckinghamshire, which sounds a lot like Buckingham Palace. I met a guy from there once, and that's all I could think. Buckinghamshire. And then we got Bedfordshire next to that. And then northeast of Bedfordshire is Cambridgeshire. Which means there must be an Oxfordshire. There's, again, Cambridge and Oxford. There's just always a duality there. Then we've got Norfolk and Suffolk over there. Nice and easy. Then we've got Devon, which is a county, like I mentioned earlier. Cornwall is the one to the east of that. Then Somerset, I think, is Somerset's. The smallest county in the UK, this one right here, I think, is Rutland. Then there's Leicester. Oh, this is counties of just England. I didn't even realise. Maybe that's why it's easier. I know more England. Then Greater Birmingham gets its own county because it's like Oh, what am I doing? Birminghamshire. Greater Manchester is also one. What is the Birmingham Council called? Oh, the West Midlands. They're just... For some reason, it's not called Birmingham. And then around... Look at that weird shape, by the way. Worcestershire, I'm sure, is a thing. So Worcestershire. Then we got the Isle of Wight. Has its own little thing. Isle of Wight. Oh. Oh, Isle of Wight is combined into its local authority for some reason. You would have figured it'd have its own council, but no. That's not good. So we'll go up north. The Newcastle Metro is called the Tynes and Wares Metro. So Tynes... Yep, nailed it. Then there's 4 Sheffields, or 4 Yorkshires. Yorkshire. Okay, just one York. East Yorkshire, because York is a huge thing. West Yorkshire. Oh man, I'm awful at this. South Yorkshire. And then that means there's also a Lancashire. Yep, which is not as big. This one here is called the Northumberland. There's it's really, really rural. Oh, that's not Northumberland. This is the Humberland. Humberside. What is Yorkshire and the Humber, I guess, is also one. Yorkshire and the Humber. What am I thinking about? Cumberland, maybe. Wait, we got Cumberlands? No. Yeah, it's something. There's a Cumberland. No. What? Okay, something's gone broken in me. There's a huge county here that I just don't know the name of. So I'm guessing there's a Nottinghamshire. It just makes sense to me that there would be one. Nottinghamshire. Then we got... I actually forgot what the requirement for this was, so let's just keep going. Somerset. Bristol is its own city council, apparently. So that means there's a Gloucestershire, which is just north of it, I'd assume. To the east of it, there's a somethingshire. Big city there, Bathshire. Bathshire, that's not a real thing, apparently. Then we got north of that, near Wales, Chestershire. Oh, yeah, there we go. Or Cheshire. That's a much nicer way to say it. Like, you know, like Buckinghamshire. Cheshire. Okay, so we gotta focus though. We need probably 2 more. There's the Liverpool area. It's called the Liverpool. It's got a funny name. Its name escapes me. People never say come up to Liverpool. They say come up to insert thing here. And their trains are named after it. Merseyside. Then we got, come on, the Humber. Why do I keep getting... So, whatever's in this hump here. Boston's in there. Lincoln's in there, so it's Lincolnshire. Big county. Jeez. Then there's a big one here, just south of Leicester. Milton Keynes is in there. No, it's north of that, so... Northamptonshire, right? Is that a thing? Yeah, Northamptonshire. What a name for a county. So Berkshire, should have gotten that one. The one I was thinking up here, by the way, was Cumbria. I got it confused with Northumberland. I was like, Cumberland. And then also Durham. It's a county, not a city, apparently. Maybe it's both. Derbyshire, should have gotten that one, really. Staffordshire, I've heard of that. That's where Alton House is. Shropshire, that's known for many bad things. Something inbred, you know. Northamptonshire. Hampshire. I mean, you'd figure South Hampshire. Whatever. Dorset. Surrey. Yeah, I knew all these, actually. Interesting. I just couldn't name them on the spot. But either way, nailed the required result. We're doing just what is required of us today. So I think I might do pretty good at this. So, name the Prime Ministers in descending order. So this is old, because it's Theresa May right now. But Cameron, Brown, Blair... oh, there is a Theresa May, never mind. So just May. It just has a picture of him, so I was like, that's the most recent one. So before Blair, it was Major, before Major, it was Thatcher. Before Thatcher, there was two prime ministers, both Labour, both mostly insignificant. There was Wilson, Harold Wilson. Hey, twice. 2 points for that. There was also, he fought against an Edward someone. Okay, well, there goes the names. But then after Harold Wilson, there was like a James something, like a J something. But we'll go back past that. Then there was the guy that Harold Wilson fought against, Edward. He's was later outed as being gay, but then outed as being asexual, I think, which is an interesting thing to have as a prime minister. But his name escapes me. He didn't like Margaret Thatcher and her leadership, so can't get him. Can't get this guy. Can't get this guy. But we can get the. So we'll go back to the one everyone knows. Everyone knows Churchill, right? Everyone loves a good bit of Churchill in their day. But then between Churchill was Attlee. Is the reason we have a lot of socialist remnants, both good and bad today. The NHS is one of his doings, and some other things are also some of his doings. So after Churchill came, who was in charge during the Suez Crisis? His name was like Alec Douglas Holmes. Yeah, Holmes. I guess we could just type, right? Okay, Douglas Holmes. Thanks for making me do. Okay, yeah, Alec Douglas Holmes. He was the last lord to lead the house, and maybe for a good reason. If I just type Edward, will that give me something? Like, I feel like his first name should count, right? Nah, Edward is not good enough. So before Churchill, there was Neville. He was famous for appeasement. Chamberlain. Yeah, Chamberlain. Never mind. He's famous for appeasement, which is historically seen as a bad thing, but I mean, like at the time, you would have probably done it too. Lloyd George was during World War One. That's another famous one to know. I don't know who the first prime minister was. Like, there's a lot of Whigs and a lot of Tories here, apparently, that I just have no clue about. So, the first Labour prime minister was Ramsay MacDonald, I want to say. So I'll just type MacDonald. There we go. He was there twice. Oh, he's the first two leaders. How nice. So some famous liberals from past. There's the guy who's behind everything. It's a fun joke on the Extra Credits channel. The guy behind the corn reforms. His name is... See, on the spot, it's so much harder. You know these people. But, so there's a guy who's famous for shifting the entire Conservative Party away from or into pro-tariffs. I'm not sure. He was for or against tariffs. It was a big thing. But his name... The corn reforms are what they're called. And it was introduced by... Yeah, a lot of conservative leaders list him as like their influence of like in the post this guy party. Like he shifted the party that badly. The guy who lost. So we'll go back to Edward Heath, which we've got now, and we'll also go back for the middling prime ministers. I mean, they're just so insignificant. They didn't really do too much, really, I guess. Then we got a conservative leader from 22 to 23, and oh god, the problem is the liberal. Yeah, no, this is. It seemed like it'd be easy, but you forget the prime ministers go back quite some time, like 1858, 1859. Like, oh my god, what am I meant to know about you? Like, because the Queen and the King was considered big for a really long time, and then at some point that stopped being the case. So we could just type random British words. There's probably a Smith, right? Hey, the elf. So the Earl of Derby is my favourite prime minister. 3 times prime minister. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of these actually. So we'll just go for similar enough names like Tanner. No, that's more of a modernish name. So what else are we missing? There's definitely some key ones in here where it's like I should know that. Like between Neville Chamberlain and Ramsay MacDonald. There was someone I should know. After Winston Churchill, like, I know these two guys. I look at them and I'm like, oh, yeah, they did a thing. So what was the thing that they did? Not too sure about it. Also, okay, so we'll go for this one. I do know him. His name was... He was in power for 3 years. He just took over the reins from this guy. And... I don't know him. I don't know him. Then, so going back a little bit more, we'll try again at the 1916. Lloyd George is famous, but which other Whigs and Tories are famous from past? I think there's the thing where if you focus too much on trying to find information, you won't get it. So we'll be chill about this. Who was the Prime Minister during 1905? No biggie, Toy Cat. You don't need to get the answer. It doesn't matter too much.
I would say the Prime Minister during the 1905 period was probably... Darn it! It doesn't work. Yeah, no, there's a 12-year Prime Minister in there somewhere I should know about, but don't. And there's a single-year Prime Minister. Oh, there's the one from the Simpsons thing where they're like, no, James, oh. Yeah, no, there's like a James someone, maybe. I don't know it. You know, this is me being bad. Let's just give up. It hasn't come to me. So the one I'm thinking of... Oh, Oh, no, I could have got... Disraeli is the guy I'm thinking of. With this information, I can just go back and fix my previous misdoings. But we won't do that right now. What we'll do... Oh, no, Callaghan. See, I got James. And also Baldwin, quite famous. I don't know why he's famous, actually. I guess he got 3 times. Bonar Law. Like, it's just a funny name, like Bonar Law. You know, everyone wants to study some Bonar Law. Earl Grey is apparently a prime minister as well. Robert Peel is one of the guys that I do know. I forget what he's famous for. William Pitt the Younger, that's the Simpsons ship guy. And Walpole is the prime minister that's the joke that he's in everything. He was prime minister for 21 years. Jesus Christ. He's basically a king, is what I'm saying here. So, yeah, we're going to go back and we're going to do English monarchs. If I can name these, then I'll redeem myself on the previous one. So, Henry VIII. Oh, you just get all the Henrys. James. Elizabeth. There's 2 of those. There was temporarily a Mary. There's an Edward at one tiny point. A lot of Edwards, apparently. Then there was a... There are not many real names. There's only 8 more to get. Like, is it really that easy? There's a King George from World War II. Also lost... Separate King George lost the empire. Sorry, no. Separate King George lost the Americas, and then a different King George lost the empire. You know, bad job. I mean, he didn't do it. The second King George was just a figurehead, of course. But House of Hanover, we've got, I guess... I mean, let's go... We tried James. This is just, like, how many, like, fancy English names do you know? Like, Harry is like, more modern fancy. Like, Andrew has to be a... There's got to be a King Andrew, right? Oh, no King Andrews. Screw this, man. So Richard is definitely one we're missing. Richard of York gave battle in vain. I don't know the House of Anjou. I've never heard, like, again, when it comes to monarchs, I know, like, the Tudor period, the period a bit before, and then it's a big gap after that. So William's on there, because William the Conqueror. Hey, William's on there a lot of times, because William the Conqueror. Then there's going to be a lot of other English fancy-ish names. So, includes uncrowned monarchs, but not disputed. Oh, Charles. There we go. He got his head chopped off at one point, I believe. I mean, there's just so many Charles. We can't really talk about any one of them and make too much sense. So, after the Acts of Union was James II, who's also James VI at the same time. Oh, no, that's James I, it would be. Fun fact about him, he had 2 titles, the first and the 6th. If we ever get formal James in the UK, we'll have a real problem on our hands. House of Blois. You know what, that's not going to help me. I think looking at the dates is just going to make me lose things. So, we have got to get 4 more. We've got all the basic royal names that I know so far. And then we just go for the slightly weirder ones. Like, again, there is only 1 Mary, right? So we got to find the Marys off the tree. So Victoria, she's a one-of-a-kind. I can't spell today. Alright, I mean, I haven't spelled any of these well. There's a one-of-a-kind Victoria. Is there any other one-of-a-kinds, actually? Yeah, there's a one-of-a-kind, and a one-of-a-kind. 3 one-of-a-kinds. And I have no knowledge between the 11th and 12th century. 12th and 13th century. So I might get this one, 1702. Oliver... I mean, he called himself a Lord Protector or something, but apparently not him. So, if it's the House of Stuart, they came from Scotland, right? Which means, I don't know, he's got like, can I tell you my name? I guess it'd be William, if that was it. So we got 10 of the 13 monarchs, which, like, it's good. We got all the multi-named ones, we just didn't get the... John? There's no way there was a King John. One sec. King John. I can't. Look at my spell. John, King of England. What do you know? There was a King John. I mean, I should just trust the thing, but, like... This is King John. Do you like it? I hope you like it. We didn't get Stephen. Anne I would have gone. Anne I would have easily gotten. Like, yeah, Anne is easy. Stephen? King Stephen? He had his own house.
What is that all about? So I'm gonna have to learn about those three monarchs. I'm bad at this. Everyone is way better than me. Like, everyone knows King John. You don't know King John, boy, can't. It's like, no, I don't know King John or Queen Anne, I do know. But Stephen? Also, this is the first time I've taken a test, and I've perfectly gotten the easiest answers and missed the harder ones. So, fun fact of Toy Cat. So I'm just not very good at being a citizen of any country. But to go back and see if I can remember the names now, let's go. So we're going to go for the weird ones first that I can just remember off the top of my head. Peel and Walpole, and then Disraeli. They're the ones that I knew but couldn't get. Then there's William Pitt. Then there's Bonelaw. Oh, you get multiple guesses when they're in multiple times, it seems. Then there's Douglas Home, which I got last time, but like Douglas Home. Then there's Baldwin, Stanley Baldwin. Then there's Gladstone. So many prime ministers. Like, look how many spots he takes up. And then we had Earl Grey, which is just a fun one, right? And then there was, I think his name was just Smith. Nice name. Now we'll go back and we'll do it, and it'll be easy. Cameron, Brown, Blair, Major, Thatcher, then Callaghan, who, again, he was never elected. He just took over from someone who was elected. Then we got Wilson, who went missing, I want to say. I don't know what happened to him. Something bad happened with him eventually. 1774 was Heath, as well as before that. Actually, all three of these elections were these two guys fighting. There might have been 4 elections, actually, but there was 4 elections where these two candidates were the only ones. And I worry that we're facing that in British politics again today. Then we've got Mr. Famous from World War One, Churchill. We got Lloyd George. And then we got Ramsay MacDonald, who I assume is Scottish now that I hear his name said back to me. 37 to 40, we got Mr. Appeasement. And then Attlee, nice famous one. And now we can name every Labour Prime Minister. That's something. And almost a lot of these green guys, I assume it's like independent liberal, like separate type of liberal from the other ones. 50 to 5, 57. I lost them. We'll give up. We'll just go. You know what? We got 25. And yeah, I guess I need to learn about more prime ministers too, like the Duke of Wellington, the Arthur Balfour. There's just a lot of like fancy names. Earl of Bute, George Grenville, Lord Frederick North. Let's find the most insignificant one. Like, there for a single year, George Canning. I think this guy's actually famous for being the shortest lived prime minister. I could be wrong if it might not be him, but we'll check him out actually. So let's take the whole name, do a quick Google search, and see if I'm right. He was prime minister for the final 4 months of his life. Jesus, does that mean he's the shortest one, right? He was part of the Ultra Tories. Oh, you know, have you tried Tories? Try Ultra Tories. The shortest tenure. There we go. So period of service, he was the shortest. So the longest was Sir Robert Walpole with 20 years, which again I didn't get on the second go. Oh, I did get it. Go me. But yeah, there you go. Fun fact. Least known answer that I did get the first time round was Ramsay MacDonald. A lot of people got Macmillan's easy. Eden, easy enough. Yeah, I just there are a lot of people who know a lot of a lot of these odd ones. So also the parties, in case you're curious, it's Conservative, it's Liberal, Labour. They're the big threes. Then there's Labour and National Labour, which was during the early 20th century, and then Peelite was a party for a bit. And you know, politics in the UK is confusing. You know, we basically invented it. Don't want to brag too much, but yeah, there we go. We got enough to beat that. All we need to do now is know the English monarchs. Can we do it? I mean, can I do it remembering it since last time? We'll see if I can. Stephen, John. I don't believe there's a King John. I know I googled it. I know it's a quiz. I know there's no reason for them to lie, but there's no Queen John. But yeah, the problem is it's so easy. Like, again, like most of the names are very duplicated. So you know at least one King Richard. You don't know all the King Richards, but you know one of them, and you get to feel extra smart about it. And then it's like, oh, I got the George already. Who's in charge right now? It's Elizabeth. But what about Mary? What about... I got Mary. What about... Oh, now we're lost again, apparently. Richard. We got Richard as well. And now we have to work... Okay, then it's James. And then... I actually... You know, I've lost this all of a sudden. Like, okay, so we got William. We got the one-of-a-kinds. The Stephens. The... Oh, I've missed a one-of-a-kind here that Oh, there's probably just another version of him later on. So, Victoria is the one-off that's kind of weird. And now we're just missing a couple of names. I guess Henry, most obvious one. And then we finish up with 2 more. Can I get Charles? We can get a Charles. Whoop, whoop. I've earned a badge. It's the British badge. And now if you go to toycat.com, wait, jetpunk.com/user/toycat, you'll find my Jetpunk level, English level 10. And now we can edit the map. And get this. There's a new thing on... Wait, how do we edit this? Oh, we have to manually go in there. But look at this right here. We can now go to the US page and we can tick off Nevada for Las Vegas. Isn't that great fun? Actually, I'm probably missing a state that I've been to on here too. So we'll just real quick check it and then say that I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, then I guess you could leave me a nice comment, or you could contribute using flatter.com/toycat. It's a good way to support any content you watch on the internet. Brave's also a system, but I know a lot of people, Brave's something to be suspicious of, whereas no one's suspicious of Flatter. It's just a useful, very really useful German company. You know, everyone can trust Germans, that are just trying to make, the internet less funded by ads and more funded by people, and allow you to support creators that you care about more than, do I care about these last-minute ski deals? I mean, actually, maybe. But, if you like a website, you can support it. If you don't like a website, you don't have to. And that should help create more things that you like, as opposed to more things that exist because they get clicks. So, with that said, if you want to do that, the link's down below. Also, the Reddit. Also, second channel. Don't care. Wait, go check my public profile. Because, look, there's a badge there. Because I'm just the best British person. Okay, goodbye.